Hi, I'm Mark Strollo, and I'm here to tell you about the latest in technology when it comes to toy haulers. The Fuzion toy hauler is literally the hottest toy hauler on the market right now, and I'm here to tell you about a few of the reasons why it is. First, as far as the technology goes in building the Fuzion, it's one of the most advanced designs I've ever seen. When these sidewalls are put together, it's the cutouts for the windows, the doors, the slide outs are all computer generated. So in other words, a computer is actually cutting out the holes in your sidewalls. Most all of these other manufacturers out there right now are using just a human to go in there with a router and kind of cut out the holes for doors, slide outs, baggage compartment doors, and really that kind of leaves a lot of room for error. But now, again, the latest in technology, the Fuzion fifth wheel is using a computer program to cut out all the holes for your windows, your doors, and slide outs. So it's actually a really big deal. Following along with the whole, the technology part of it, the Fuzion fifth wheels come with what they call a Blizzard package. Really kind of amazing. It's got the highest R value, or one of the highest R values in the industry when it comes to toy haulers. It's got an R31 in the floor, an R31 in the roof, and an R24 in the slide outs. So if you plan on doing some camping in a little bit colder weather, or maybe early in the spring or late into the fall, that Blizzard package is really going to make a big difference. It's really just going to make the inside of your fifth wheel a lot more comfortable than you would find in most of them. An awful lot of fifth wheels out there will have R values that are half as much, so it's just not as comfortable to stay in. And with a Fuzion, again, it's going to have a lot of things that a lot of fifth wheels just don't. This is literally the latest out there when it comes to toy haulers, and I think that as you follow me through here, you'll see why. Awesome feature. An awful lot of toy haulers will have a generator. This one has an oversized or a much larger generator. It's a 5.5 Cummins Onan generator, and it actually comes standard with the Fuzion. So a really big deal. Most fifth wheels are going to come with that 4,000 generator. And a big deal with the Fuzion fifth wheels, they actually come with 2 air conditioners. So having that bigger generator allows you, gives you the ability just to run more things. So a super cool competitive advantage here is the fact that our generators are just bigger in size, bigger in capacity. So another reason why the Fuzion is doing so well. As you can see up here, we actually have, I just wanted to point this out here, we have a 6-point leveling system. Big deal about that is that it's actually standard. You don't have to pay for it, so it's free. So it has two up front, 2 jacks up front, 2 in the middle, and 2 in the back. The neat thing about that 6-point leveling system is the fact that if you ever had a flat tire, if you're on the road and you're out camping, and generally with an RV you have a flat tire, there's really nothing you can do except wait for a tow truck to come. Well, here, these jacks are actually designed to lift the entire fifth wheel off the ground. They can actually support the entire weight of this fifth wheel. So again, you have a 6-point leveling system that will actually lift the fifth wheel off the ground so you can easily change the tire. I don't know of another an RV that you can do that with. There are some out there with it, but the point is that the Fuzion, latest in technology as far as toy haulers go, this feature is standard. So again, that oversized generator standard, the 6-point leveling system is standard, that Blizzard package is standard. These are all things that are just you're just not paying for, and a lot of other toy hauler fifth wheels aren't really up to date as far as the technology goes here. And again, you're going to find all the latest stuff with the Fuzion. Follow me and I'll show you a couple other neat things. So many really cool features that are standard. If you can get a picture here, it has a Dirt Devil central vac system that's actually no charge. It comes with it. So that's really neat. So to keep the inside nice and clean, you have a Dirt Devil vacuum system, and I'll show you a little bit more about that on the inside. Here's a really neat feature. It's simple in design, but it's just kind of awesome. If you're out camping in a field and you've got a lot of people hanging around the outside and you want to use this for cold beverage storage, there's a little drain here. You can fill it with ice and load it with your favorite beverage. The exterior finish on the Keystone Fuzion fifth wheel is really neat. It's actually a high gloss exterior finish. The biggest benefit to that feature is that in the future, as far as resale value goes, the exterior is always going to look white. An awful lot of fifth wheels, even a couple of years old, that aren't gel coated finish, they tend to discolor after a while. Again, the Fuzion, latest in technology as far as toy haulers go, it comes standard with a gel-coated exterior, which is normally about a $2,000 option, $2,500 option with others, or it's not even possible to get. So having that gel-coated finish does a couple of things for you. It actually makes it super easy to clean, and it makes that sidewall bright white for a really long time, you know, for as long as you own it, really, because it's actually a little bit thicker sidewall, and it's just a high gloss finish, something that you would see on big diesel motorhomes. And again, that's standard with the Fuzion. So just one feature that you want to have that I want to point that out, because it's just not available on a lot of other fifth wheels. The Fuzion, it's got it standard. Baggage doors are kind of cool, and I know there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'll go quick here, but it has what they call slam lock baggage doors. Just real easy to open and close, the same baggage door you'd find in a diesel motorhome. So I think you'd really find that kind of neat to have. Also, just to back in the up front compartment here, you'll notice there's actually no obstructions in here. So many fifth wheels, almost every other one I look at has, you know, pipes coming down from the bathroom, or water pipes, or some sort of wiring or something exposed. Very clean front compartment. In other words, you can just kind of not be worried about throwing lawn chairs or throwing fishing equipment or gear inside. It's just easy and really well thought out. So if you want to follow me, I'll just point out a couple of some key features here. You know, I want to talk a little bit more about this. Again, it has that 6-point leveling system, which is standard. Most fifth wheels out there, an option at best, and with the Fuzion, it is standard. Again, if you wanted to, biggest thing is if you for some reason had a flat tire, you could actually use these jacks to lift the entire fifth wheel off the ground. Makes it much easier, safer on the side of the road. Second is, if for winter storage, if you wanted to actually use those jacks to lift the entire fifth wheel off the ground, so your tires aren't sitting in the dirt for the whole winter, you certainly could do that. So it actually helps your tires last a little longer, helps with changing a tire on the side of the road. One of my favorite features as far as the look on a Fuzion fifth wheel is so high-end and so new and exciting, not only because of that gel coat finish, but it has what they call frameless windows. What an awesome feature. So looking at a Fuzion going down the road, it has that unique, distinctive look. No other fifth wheel toy hauler looks like a Fuzion or is built like a Fuzion or has the options of a Fuzion. So it's pretty obvious why pretty much the best-selling toy hauler fifth wheeler out there right now is the Fuzion. That exterior look is fantastic. You have that gel-coated sidewall, so it has a nice, bright, clear finish. And then you also have tinted, frameless windows. Super, super high-end look. And if you want to follow me to the back, this is where we get into some technological advantages of a Fuzion. Some really important stuff here. You know, if you are a toy hauler buyer, I'm sure that you're into motorcycles, bikes, ATVs, you know, those types of things. What I'm about to show you is one of the most important benefits of a Fuzion. So if you can kind of follow closely here. I think one of the neatest advantages of a Fuzion is the fact that it actually has an 8-foot long entry door. That is awesome. The biggest benefit there is it's a lower ramp entry. So there's just less, you know, pushing up an ATV or a motorcycle. It's just gonna be a lot easier. So in other words, it has one of the lowest ramp entries in the industry. So it has an 8-foot door. It's actually a really big deal. So it makes kind of going in and out very, very easy. And you can see how big and wide that opening is. Not every toy hauler fifth wheel has that. In fact, most of them, if you can kind of imagine, it's about, you know, a foot shorter. Most of them are 7 feet. That's actually, it's just not as comfortable going in and out. You can imagine that you know, that the incline going up is just tremendous. You know, one other thing I wanted to mention, maybe I can kind of move around out towards the front of it in a little bit later to show you, but a toy hauler is designed to carry a lot of stuff. The big deal about a Fuzion is that it actually has heavy-duty 7,000-pound axles. So it's designed to carry a lot of weight. Most fifth wheels are in that 6,000-pound axle rating at best. So we'll get into that a little bit more, but I certainly didn't want to not mention that because that's a huge feature. So again, going inside, 8-foot door, awesome feature, just makes the use of the toy hauler a lot better. one of the best features about the, I know I keep saying that, but there's so many features about the Fuzion that I don't want to miss. But the way that they set up their D-rings in their floor, in the garage floor, is just kind of like no other toy hauler out there. It has 3 rows of 3 D-rings, and they're actually attached to the frame. And on top of that, they're rated for, I believe it's 5,000 pounds, which is almost double other manufacturers out there. So if you want to carry multiple items back here, a couple of bikes, a couple of ATVs, you know, it makes it easier because it's just easier to hook up. You have 3 sets of 3 D-rings, and they're rated for about double what most other companies rate them for. In other words, if you can imagine that these D-rings that you attach your expensive stuff to, your Harley or your ATV, these are actually welded or attached right to the frame. Most manufacturers don't do that. They actually just put these D-rings right, they're just kind of screwed down to the floor, so just not quite as safe. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to come after a long trip, take a look in the garage and find your, you know, $40,000 Harley, you know, laying on its side. You know, these heavy-duty D-rings are going to make a big difference, and there's 3 rows of 3, so it's just kind of more, it's just easier to use. Follow me and we'll go inside and point out a few neat things here. One more thing about the garage area that's really neat is that it actually comes standard with your washer dryer hookup too, so that's a great feature to have. The interior or the living space of a Fuzion fifth wheel is also just as technologically advanced as the exterior, and there's some really cool features. First, one of the neatest things is the refrigerator. The microwave and the oven are all oversized. They're more of a residential type of size. A lot of RVs or toy hauler fifth wheels out there just use smaller equipment, smaller microwaves, smaller refrigerators. This is about 20% larger. The refrigerator alone is about 20% larger than most refrigerators out there. This is an 8 cubic foot refrigerator. The bottom line is you get an extra shelf. You know, most of them don't have, you know, 4 shelves. So it also has a neat feature in here. They call them, oops, I dropped one, but they're called magic fingers. What that means is you could actually store stuff in here and not have to worry about, you know, the things kind of popping out when you're on the road. So it kind of holds things in place. Kind of a neat feature. Again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves, and that's how you can kind of, it's an indication of a really high-end refrigerator. So it also has an adjustable temperature setting. So 8 cubic foot refrigerator, really high-end. The reason why I want to point some of these things out is because there is a difference between a Fuzion and other toy haulers out there. I've mentioned this a few times. Again, this is the latest in technology when it comes to toy haulers. And if you're going to go ahead and make the investment into a toy hauler like this, it's important to get these things. They come no charge with the Fuzion, so it's worth considering the Fuzion and this model. Awesome refrigerator. This is awesome because it's the same exact microwave I have in my house. So as I mentioned to you that, or not the same brand, but the same size anyway, but I want to mention that because it's more of a residential feel that you get with a Fuzion. So many of these RVs out there just put really small things that are almost useless. I can't tell you how many times I've heard from a customer that my oven was so small I just couldn't even use it, so we just use it as a storage area. Not in a Fuzion. 30-inch residential, almost like restaurant quality microwave. In terms of the size anyway, it's 30-inch microwave. Your oven is a big 21-inch high oven. So many of these are just, you know, they're just gonna be smaller. If you can kind of pull around here, I'll just show you another neat feature. This is not a big deal to a lot of people, but to me it is. I like to have people over and I like to entertain, but I also like to keep everything clean and neat and orderly. The Fuzion has, most of their models are going to have a spot for a waste paper basket. You know, to have something like that, you might not think it's a big deal, but if you don't have that, you know, you're basically going to have to, you know, leave the garbage out in the living area. So here, having the spot for waste paper basket is just an awesome feature. Keeps everything kind of neat and orderly in your fifth wheel. The kitchen area is awesome. Just the whole look of a Fuzion is just high end, and it has just a beautiful look to it. More of a high end $500,000 house look, but yet still a rough and tough toy hauler at the same time. So 60/40 sinks, and they're stainless steel. They're also recessed. This is a beautiful sink setup, and it's in a toy hauler. Can you imagine that? Easy to clean. You know, a lot of these have that acrylic or fiberglass type look. They look dirty after a while. They crack. This is just super easy to clean. You can use normal like Ajax on it and that kind of stuff. So kind of neat. You also have a sprayer here. So if you have bigger pots and pans, it makes it real easy to clean. Again, I'm pointing these things out because so many of these toy hauler fifth wheels just don't have this stuff. So, and again, solid surface countertops gives it that high-end look and really neat for resale value purposes. If we can kind of take a look here, really what the Fuzion has done for their interiors with this slide-out setup is absolutely amazing, and you would think that all manufacturers would kind of do the same thing, and they're just not doing it. So they have this atrium-style window setup, which actually just makes it feel, believe it or not, this is only a 31, 32-foot fifth wheel. I feel like I'm in a monster home here. So it's because of the way that these windows are set up and how tall their slide-outs are. You know, I'm sure my brothers are probably making fun of me for not knowing this and forgetting it, but I don't know the actual height, but it's just really tall. I mean, I think it's got to be, you know, 7 or 8 feet, the height of this slide out. It actually makes it almost feel like it's part of the whole fifth wheel. Really tall slide out heights. I think I've never seen one as tall as that. And it also has these panoramic style windows. So the look and feel of Fuzion is just super unique, and I think that you'd absolutely love it if you make the decision to buy a Fuzion. So a couple other neat things around here. I'll kind of point them out to you. Above us, I just kind of want to point out a couple of neat features here. Is that the lighting in a Fuzion fifth wheel is also really, really high end. It has that recessed, I believe they're halogen lights. So many RVs just have this lesser expensive style lighting. It's not as bright. The bulbs don't last as long. This has got that recessed look. Again, a look that you'd find in a $500,000 house. It's amazing what you get with a Fuzion fifth wheel toy hauler, or even a travel trailer for that matter. Most of these features are the same. Everything is just bigger and better with a Fuzion. The weight of the axles are bigger. Again, they're 7,000 pound axles. Most of these toy hauler fifth wheels, do the research, they have 6,000 pound axles. The carrying capacity of a Fuzion is, you know, significantly more than any of them out there. I don't know some of the brand names, but you know, even some of these brands that have been around for a long time, they just don't have these things. Again, the Fuzion is all about more and bigger and better. It has 9 D-rings that are all heavy-duty D-rings. It has bigger refrigerator. It comes standard with 2 air conditioners and not 1. It's just amazing the amount of stuff that they give you for the Fuzion. And then, of course, on top of all that, the pricing is just fantastic. So stock and quantity of them at our dealerships is a little difficult sometimes because they're super popular. So if it is something that you're interested, I would recommend giving one of our dealerships a call. Don't hesitate to have them give you exact pricing right over the phone. I couldn't be more happy and thrilled with the way that the Fuzion is put together. And I think if you decided to purchase one too, you'd be really happy. As I mentioned before about the Fuzion just having more and bigger and that kind of stuff, that's their whole idea. They put these Fuzion fifth wheels together with that whole idea in mind, which is we're just going to do more than other toy hauler fifth wheels out there or travel trailers. We're going to put more in it. We're going to make stuff bigger, and we're going to make our price the most competitive out there. Neat feature, they just increased the size of their TVs. They're bigger, they're more. I believe it's a 40-inch screen TV, which is standard in the Keystone Fuzion. I'm going to kind of, and I know I'm skipping some stuff, but because there's so much with the Keystone Fuzion fifth wheel, I just want to try to cover the big stuff. This is the funniest thing in the world. It's awesome. You know, my brothers, they all make fun of me because I'm not very technologically advanced. You know, I don't have the new latest phones, and they were, just before we started this, they were making fun of me saying that the Keystone Fuzion fifth wheel is actually more technologically advanced than I am. They're probably right, but this is neat. It's kind of like one of those new iPod things, and this looks, it's just a touch screen. It's awesome. This actually can control everything in this fifth wheel. I've never seen anything like this, even in a $600,000 motorhome. Absolutely amazing. It's again, they're probably laughing at me outside, but you just touch the button and you can open the awning. You can lower the jacks. You can put the slide outs out. It's just all from this little remote control. It's kind of cool. It's just a push button. You just multi-function wireless Lippert component machine here. Again, the Fuzion is the most technologically advanced fifth wheel on the market, and I am 100% serious when I say that. they have stuff that is beyond what I've ever seen. So again, this is, you just touch the button, and if you can see here, you can actually turn the lights on, put the levelers down, put the main slide out, put the bedroom slide out, all just by hitting a button. It's exciting. You know, I'm not sure that it's a little bit beyond where I am technologically speaking, but awesome feature. You actually have a push button, kind of like an iPad setup for your Fuzion fifth wheel or trailer. It's standard. So awesome feature. Couple of things up front here, and we'll kind of wrap it up, and maybe one or two other things I wanted to show you on the outside before we get going. They do the curved wall into the bathroom, so again, that really high-end residential look is kind of consistent all the way throughout. So as rugged and tough as a Fuzion fifth wheel is, or travel trailer for that matter, it still has these high-end amenities and just really nice, beautiful, gorgeous look to it. So again, that curved wall going into your bedroom is just outstanding. And of course, the colors that they choose with their carpets and their fabrics are just right on. Whoever their interior decorator is kind of nailed it. Just want to kind of point out a few of the things in the bedroom area of the Fuzion fifth wheel. I just want you to remember something, that, you know, obviously when you certainly have choices when you're out there shopping for toy hauler fifth wheels or trailers. Just that Keystone Fuzion right now is like the best-selling fifth wheel on the market right now because it has all these extra things. So I just want to point out a few competitive advantages or some neat things about the bedroom that you just don't find in a lot of them, and then we'll maybe wrap up outside and show you one or two features out there. But coolest thing in the world, again, they try to do more things that aren't RV-like and more residential-like. This is actually a true queen bed, so it's actually a 60 by 80 bed. So it's about 4, 5, 6 inches longer than most other fifth wheels on the market out there. So you actually have a residential style bed. It's bigger, it's better, it's more of like a homely feel. So and that's standard with the Fuzion. So I just wanted to point that out because that to me is a really big deal. The fact that they put in a residential style bed, a real true queen. The other ones are just, they're hard. You can't find sheets to fit, you can't find comforters to fit. This is more of a residential type of thing. If you wanted to buy additional sheets or comforters or pillows or that kind of stuff, it all matches. So it's more of a residential thing. So I wanted to point that out. Two last things before we head outside. I wanted to point this out because typically this is an option in most fifth wheels. You have 2 air conditioners here. So all these things kind of add up in terms of money, but if you look at where the pricing is on the Fuzion, that's the most amazing part about it. The numbers on a Fuzion are absolutely outstanding. The difficult thing is stock and, you know, getting them. So we do have a lot on order, but pricing and that stuff, if you wanted exact pricing, our guys and girls are trained to just, you know, give it to you right away and make that part also as easy as possible. So I just wanted to wrap up and show you one or two things out on the outside, and then and hopefully we'll see you at the dealerships. Okay, just a few last few things on the outside. I just kind of wanted to after I point out one or two more things on the outside, I'll kind of just sum it up for you here. But you know, I wanted to mention this because I don't think I really got this far earlier, but 16-inch tires are standard, and they're 7,000-pound axles. So I know I briefly mentioned it before, but it really is one of those features that you just don't find those on other fifth wheels or toy hauler fifth wheels for that matter. I think one of the most important things to have that on, or what type of unit is most important, is a toy hauler, because of, you know, the weight that you carry in there, the heavy motorcycles, the heavy ATVs, the bikes, those types of things. You want the carrying capacity that that you should have. So, and again, most fifth wheels don't have that. They're 7,000-pound axles. Most toy hauler fifth wheels are 6,000 pounds. So it's actually a really big deal. A couple other neat things on the exterior I just wanted to remind you of. That 6-point leveling system is standard. Again, with the Keystone Fuzion fifth wheel and travel trailers, you're just getting more. It is the latest in technology when it comes to construction, options, features. It just has so much. And if you really kind of take a good look at everything that we're talking about here, you're going to find that these things are basically impossible to find anywhere else. It's the reason why the Fuzion is the best-selling toy hauler fifth wheel on the market right now. It has all these extra things. Everything from that iPod-style electronics control to the 9 D-rings, or the bigger entry door, to the gel coat exterior. It has a super high-end look. The price is outstanding, and the features on it are just unmatched anywhere else, and also the way that they're put together. I think if you decided to buy a Keystone Fuzion from our dealership, there's just no way you couldn't be thrilled about your purchase. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.